Okay, we're back once again with more Doctor Who Series 12 news. And today the news is that Doctor Who will return New Year's Day with the debut episode, which apparently will be a two-parter, and it will be entitled Spyfall. I know, that's awful. I'm not going to lie to you. That does not enthrall me, that title. Not only because I despise the film Skyfall, it's by far one of the worst James Bond films, which it is an obvious reference to, but it does confirm the whole spy aspect that we'd all been talking about before, probably confirming that I would say Stephen Fry is definitely the head of the MI6, which we saw with like plaques saying MI6 on the when they were filming, and I would definitely say that Lenny Henry's character is supposed to be some kind of alien villain in disguise. Maybe, who knows, it could be a Zygon for all we know, but I mean, we don't really know the villain of episode 1 at this point. It could be anything. It's just a generic spy episode. I do remember seeing when they were filming, they had this weird placard thing that said Cyber Division. I don't know, I thought it might link to the Cybermen, but I doubt it will do, because obviously it does not look like the Cybermen are going to be in episode 1. But yeah, so that's the first bit of news. Not only did they announce the release date of New Year's Day, which I was just like poo-pooing because it's just way too close. Like, they've got a really close advertising window. It's probably the closest Doctor Who advertising window I've ever seen. I ever remember, I think. Literally, the first trade 23rd, and then less than a week. I think just over a week later. I mean, I was planning to do a different video today. And then this dropped, and this trailer dropped. I thought, well, we'll break it down because there's a couple of new shots here. Nothing too substantial, mostly character shots, but I thought we'd break it down. So to look at our first shot, let's have a look at this shot. Okay, so this first shot looks to be like a door opening. It reminds me of the opening title scene from the Captain Marvel trailer. It looks like a sort of air shelter where they keep, like a hangar where they keep planes in. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I see that shot. I don't know if that's from episode 1 or if it's from a later episode, but could this be where the TARDIS, where they first find out what's going on and then they're recruited? I don't know, but that sort of airship hangar is a very interesting stylistic choice. Very much reminds me of the Captain Marvel opening trailer. Obviously another blonde female hero, so that's one way it could link to. Maybe they're trying to spoof Captain Marvel in a way, I guess. I don't know, maybe it's just an original idea, but I mean, the idea of the Doctor and Brie Larson... Oh, sorry, there's a cat, just so you know. Cat's on me again. Maybe they're trying to replicate that, I guess. There is a later shot that looks like it may also be from an airship hangar. But it's a very nice shot. I did like the way that Captain Marvel utilised that shot. So, yeah, and moving on. The next shot appears to be of Jodie running away from some kind of explosion there, and some sort of looks like a pipe is behind her while that explosion goes off. That could be anything. It could be some monster attacking her. It does have that same sort of feel to it as the Paris episode, the Paris 1943 one, whatever. It does look like that in terms of the tone and the lighting, maybe. So it could be an indoor shot from that episode. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so this next shot intrigues me because these pyramid type things obviously look a bit Pink Floyd to me, but they also look very Army of Ghosts-esque, with the weird ghost sort of trap things that the Doctor uses in Army and Ghosts and Doomsday. I certainly thought they were quite reminiscent of that from that episode. But also the strange console thing, they're all emitting this strange orangey glow, and this is something that does, I will admit, concern me. Because obviously the orange glow has often been used in association with the Stenza from Series 11, and I personally did not like the Stenza. I thought they were a bit of a rip-off of multiple monsters in a way, and it felt like Chris Chibnall was substituting for the fact there weren't any Daleks in Series 11, and then eventually you went on to use the Daleks anyway in the New Year's Day special. But it obviously might not be, but it looks like there's a lot of signs pointing towards it. The Stenza seem like a bit of a rip off the Daleks, and if it is the Stenza, might suggest that the strange creatures, the gas mask creatures, with the weird lit up guns that looked a bit like sniper bots, like in terms of like the gun sort of shape and the way it was over their hands, I might suggest that instead of using sniper shots, maybe this Stenza is using a different mode of slave. Maybe they could be like minions or something, in my opinion. Like you did have the sniper bots were sort of maybe the sniper bots were new things that people could use who had better stens of money, and then I guess these could be potentially like Ogorons, I guess, which would be a nice little callback, I guess, but we'll have to wait and see. On the floor, that does look like Graham, so again, like people calling Graham's death, maybe he's about to get killed by Tim Shaw, which would be somewhat ironic, given that Grace was obviously succumbed to her fate because of Tim Shaw by proxy. He didn't literally kill her. A lot of people say, oh no, it does. They did give the impression in the series 11 finale that, oh my god, Tim Shaw killed her, but he didn't really. But yeah, so that's that shot. Okay, so this next shot looks like a continuation of that shot that we got at the end of the Doctor Who trailer, in that vineyard area, where we can now see, the reason I bring this up mainly because we can now see that the Doctor is actually wearing a navy coat. It does not look black at all in that lighting. It may just be the lighting, but it doesn't look black, which is interesting to me. Because Ryan and Yaz definitely look like they're wearing black. Graham, I think, is wearing navy, but maybe, I don't know, maybe that's some sort of, I guess we'll learn out more, but I just thought it was a fun little detail to pick out there. And again, we've seen this part of the episode quite a while. It looks like it's probably maybe towards the start of episode 1, either that airship hangar thing that might come before, because as I said, there's a later shot where they return to that air hangar, so it could be later on as well. But yeah, I think that those shots may actually be the establishing shots of Series 12, which I think is interesting to me. Okay, this next shot is another sort of foreboding shot. It's a Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor, looking out of the TARDIS. A lot of people are talking about how this is probably some kind of setting up a story arc again, which a lot of people are saying, oh, I've noticed a lot of people are saying they're getting really excited about it. It could be interesting. I'm not sure how well Chris Chibnall could do a story arc, but then again, we haven't seen him do much yet. We'll have to see, I guess. But this story arc with she's like, she says to herself, to the companions, I think she says, you don't know me. And I hope we don't get even more like knowledge about the Doctor. I don't want to know more about you. You're quite right. We don't know anything about you. That's the point. So I'm interested to know what she's like talking about. Maybe it's some past thing that she did that she's ashamed of. I mean, Time War, obviously, but that was sort of erased. So maybe she's done something else that we don't know about. I mean, the Doctor's probably done tons of stuff that he regrets that we don't know about. I mean, at the end of the day, if the Doctor was to go to heaven or to hell, which would he really go to? I mean, genocide versus all those people he saved, I mean, is an interesting philosophical question, actually. Where would the Doctor go? Because I'm sure he/she has made many errors and has made many mistakes, and it's about time we do something about that. But yeah, moving on, let's have a look at this next shot, which okay, this next shot is outside. It looks sort of Norwegian, reminds me of the It Takes You Away. There's a church in the background there by the looks of it, or a chapel. That's very interesting. I don't know what that could possibly mean, but the shot which she's looking up, obviously it is a spy episode. I might float the idea that maybe a drone or something is like up in the air and it's like recording them. That could be from the spy episode. I could be completely wrong. But it reminds me of, in a way, maybe if this sort of doesn't really have the same tone as the vineyard, but the same sort of setting with the weird European looking chapel, I think, and the vegetation certainly seems in full swing, which is often not the case here in the UK. So that's definitely, I think that could be from that same spy episode. Maybe either earlier or later on in the episode. I don't know, obviously. Maybe in the middle, because she's not in spy uniform. I mean, she's probably, if she's wearing the spy uniform from the start of the episode, I mean, she could be wearing it for the entire episode. But maybe it's before she gets commissioned. I mean, we don't know at this point, but it's fun to speculate. Let's look on to the next shot. This next shot is obviously in the air hangar because we can see a plane in the background. Hopefully they do not pull the time flight on us. But the Doctor, as I said, drones potentially because she's putting her sonic up in the air. Some kind of drone, maybe. I don't know. I mean, with all that Heathrow Airport nonsense about the drone on the runway, it would be certainly very right now, certainly. And I think it could be drones, maybe alien sort of. I'm interested to know if this is an alien threat, or if it's a human threat, or if it's just some kind of technology gone wrong type episode, which doesn't really have much alien intervention, which is something Doctor Who hasn't done for a while, the mad scientist sort of story arc, actually, I think, now that I think about it. So it could be interesting to see a mad scientist sort of episode if Lenny Henry's maybe the mad scientist role, and maybe that's putting the entire Earth in danger, which would be, I think it'd be definitely something that we haven't seen in a while, so it'd be good to see. Okay, so now we have a shot of the Doctor looking out at some ocean there. I'm guessing this is the Raven episode, maybe in that desert type. I don't know. It's not really a desert, but there's a sort of ocean-esque thing, and it reminds me of that shot with the ravens where the Doctor is running off. Obviously, I don't know if I can pick out what t-shirt she's wearing in that episode. If it's the red one, then it's definitely that episode. But the ocean area definitely reminds me of that episode. I do like the shot, actually. It's quite a nice. It reminds me of Broadchurch, actually, that entire environment, that sort of beach-esque area, which a lot of Broadchurch has made that certain beach, I don't know where it is, somewhere down the coast, famous, actually, in a way, that weird, I think it's chalk, isn't it? It's chalk background there. But it's very, I guess the only thing we can draw from this is there's some weird packaging type materials in that. I guess it's a lighthouse, or maybe an sort of, I don't know what the word is anymore, but the word's blanked. But the thing you find along the seaside, there's an opening shot of the Leisure Hive. Beach hut. It could be some kind of beach hut, maybe. Maybe, I think this episode could be about a science project. Maybe this one could be a science project that was abandoned, or maybe the entire crew is dead, and the Doctor and Yaz and co have all gone to investigate what's going on there. Maybe they picked up some distress calls. It could be an alien planet. And I think that's what that dome episode, maybe that all links in together with the Ravens, because that's a big open space. So it could be where the Ravens are from that episode. Okay, so this next shot looks again to be inside that, I would say, in that research facility. Looks very research facility-esque. Not much we can say there, but Ryan and Yaz are obviously looking quite shocked. So it does beg the question, what is happening? Have they just seen someone get mauled alive by ravens? You know, it reminds me of something. I remember my friend tried to write, well, I say tried, he did write a book about ravens that were eating people's family. So, while I would encourage my friend to claim copyright, obviously, I mean, but he can't really, because he didn't actually copyright the book, but, I mean, he never got published, but, I mean, it's just a fun little thing he did, but maybe I would encourage, he looks, from what I read from my friend's book, I think the idea of these ravens, because obviously ravens are a traditional, sign of death. Obviously, we have, Face the Raven, which is where, Clara dies. We also have the, I think they're crows. It could be crows, actually. I hadn't realised that. Crows and ravens are very similar. But you have the crow from, what's the episode? Series 10, The Uses of Light. So maybe it could be some kind of, obviously, explanation for what's going on. Maybe they're trying to investigate what crows used to be like. I don't know. Maybe crows used to be evil and alien, like bees, I guess. But it's an interesting theory, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with this episode. We have another shot of that spaceship crashing down to the atmosphere. It does explode at the end of the shot, but I didn't get a shot of it. Here we have again with I think this is Goran Visinich again. A lot of people are saying this could be Nicholas Tesla. I have no idea who Nicholas Tesla is. I still haven't researched him. I meant to research him because I thought, oh yeah, it'll come up again in the next trailer, and then the trailer comes out more than just over a week later, and I haven't looked at it. But yeah, this could be Nicholas Tesla. If any of you actually know who Nicholas Tesla is, all I know about Tesla is that there's a car, so I'm sorry. But a lot of people are saying this could be an episode set in New York as well, which I think is interesting. Obviously, continuing the trend of having Doctor Who historical set outside New York. New York has an interesting history with immigration, particularly, I mean, I've been learning about it in geography, about how it was often seen as a safe haven, particularly from lots of Jews fleeing from the Nazi oppression in the 40s as well, and a lot of people fled to New York. A lot of people were looking for new jobs if they're poor. I know in the UK a lot of people just like if they were like a servant, they'd often go looking to New York for a lot of income, because America at that time was booming in terms of money. So I think it could be interesting to have a historical set there, because there is all that history with immigration and how it was a big epicenter for new jobs and a big industry there at the time. I'm trying to remember this off my head, so if I get facts wrong, don't leave me alone. But yeah, it could be interesting to have an episode say New York. A lot of people are saying this could be the episode with the Ragnos-esque creature. We don't know. It looks like from that shot, from Yaz running away from the creature from the first trailer, it could be that episode. I don't know where Mary Shelley comes into all this, but I don't know if that's the same episode or a different episode, because I can't remember when Mary Shelley was alive. But yeah, Nikola Tesla and potentially immigration. Maybe Ryan's. I don't know. We don't really explore Ryan's heritage, but obviously, as I said, there's a very rich immigration culture in New York. They've literally got like whole different cultures there. It's a lot like London is in a way, except London is more recently more about immigration. But I know that's a bit of a boring aspect to that episode potentially, but we'll see. If it's a historical and it's set in the 18th century, which it does seem to be, immigration could play a huge role in that story. Speaking of the devil, this is the creature that I record to be a Ragnos-esque creature. I think I still stand by the Ragnos theory. I don't think it is a Ragnos anymore, but it does seem to be some kind of Ragnos-esque relation. Obviously, a lot of people point out that the creature from that shot with the Yaz running through that market that I just referred to just a minute ago about New York and immigration, but obviously it looks very Scorpion-esque, so it could be potentially some kind of relative. Obviously, both are arachnids. They all have, I think you have to be 8-legged to be an arachnid. I think that's how it works, but it's definitely some kind of an arachnid, so it could be related to the Ragnos by all means. Whether we'll get a callback, we might just get a callback like we did with the Absorbaloff when he said I'm from planet Klom, Slovenes, because obviously the Absorbaloff looks like a Slovene, so it's obviously some kind of, maybe I'll get a callback saying they're from the twin planet, or maybe they're from the same planet, and maybe there's a big planet out there with loads of arachnid themed aliens. Maybe we'll get a visit one day, probably not, but oh well. Next shot appears to be some big blue creature, which I only bring up because we know nothing about it, because it's just a big blue blob. But I only bring it up because I've noticed that Graham and Yaz, most notably Yaz, appear to be wearing the same costume from that other shot, which I thought would be from the Raven episode. Now this could potentially mean that this is some kind of crazy facility gone seriously wrong, where there's more than one sort of possessed animal, or maybe this is some kind of mutation. Maybe this is what happens to humans if they end up being in the raid too long, or maybe this is what the Ravens do to the humans. Who knows? Maybe this is some big alien Raven that's just about to erupt, I guess. We'll see. But it also reminds me a bit of the what's it called? I've lost the name of it. There's a story of Doctor Who called Classic Who called The Ark in Space. The creature from that, it looks sort of reminiscent to that. We've had a lot of things that look like that. Sort of the Dalek, when Dalek Sec takes in the human from that episode, in that New York episode. It sort of looks like that. So maybe this is a human that's been taken in by a Dalek for, I guess, hibernation or conversion or some kind of mutation or chemical reaction. We'll have to see. Here we have another shot of Graham. I think that's another shot from the perhaps the Raven episode. There's a lot of shots from that Raven episode, but he's wearing that same costume. We have a shot of Jodie Whittaker, and there's another person behind it. I can't decide if it's Yaz or if it's someone else. But it looks like Yaz, and she's talking about something there, which is, I guess, interesting. Again, looking like it might be, in terms of the colour saturation, maybe from that European episode. It looks, again, very Vineyard-esque. Obviously, she's not wearing the tuxedo by the looks of it. I mean, we can't tell completely, but Yaz definitely isn't. But it's a two-part story. They have confirmed that, by the way. They've confirmed that the first two episodes, and there will be multiple two-parters in Series 12, not just that opening two-parter, which is another bit of news that dropped recently as well. But yeah, it definitely looks like there could be that Vineyard episode. Maybe she's talking to Lenny Henry's character there. We'll have to wait and see. On the subject of two-parters, something that came to my mind actually, this shot of the Cyberman, obviously this looks like a sort of decrepit Cyberman. We saw a lot of filming photos of brand new looking Cybermen. This I think will be a historical as well, because from those filming photos, it looks like there's some kind of strange medieval type thing to it. So maybe that's a flashback actually. In Resolution, we had that flashback about the Dalek coming to Earth, and then the 4 custodians destroyed said Dalek and took his parts all over the planet. Took his parts all across the UK, not the UK, across the world, to Sheffield, naturally. And it looks like maybe that could be a flashback to a big battle, maybe, I guess. Or it could be that that's from this design is from the first part. Sorry about that. It looks like that maybe this could be from the first part. We could have a Resolution-esque episode. I didn't like Resolution, but I think that idea might work with the Cybermen better, personally. I still don't like this design. It doesn't seem tangible at all. And it reminds me of the very early concept design for the 2006 Cybermen when they returned then, and I didn't like it, but a lot of people seem to be going crazy for this, so I guess I'm the only one on this. I mean, I just don't like the rusty sort of element to it. I mean, it didn't really work with the Dalek either, in my opinion. It just looks like trash. It's the end of, really. It doesn't really look scary. It doesn't inspire confidence in me at all, but I mean, that's just that one thing that's a nitpick for me, but we'll see. This next shot looks again to me from that Raven episode. As I said, I'm guessing that's slightly earlier on in the series because they're less likely to show finale stuff. But this looks like the lights have maybe gone down in that facility, and obviously they're relying on torchlight, as is almost a Doctor Who tradition at this point. But I do think this is interesting, particularly if there's that weird, strange alien lump thing chasing them. They just discover it and then they're being chased by it, or they see it and they try not to wake it. Maybe it does look like it could be a Winnie the Pooh-esque type creature, maybe sleeping a lot, but also quite scary. Maybe it started off small and then it got big because it's been eating the crew members, and maybe it's causing the ravens to go wild, which I think would be interesting, certainly. But we'll have to see on that one. I definitely from Yaz's costume, I forgot to mention, it does look like that is Yaz's costume from that episode potentially. From that, because it's that red coat. Again, she could wear that red coat in multiple episodes, so don't hold me to it, but it does, in terms of like the setting, the indoors environment, I mean, I think the majority of that episode is set inside that base, and then the Doctor frees the birds. That's why the birds are on that beach at the end of maybe at the end of the episode, or maybe the Doctor's being used as live bait, which is somewhat a strange idea, but we'll see. Again, maybe like last video was I don't know counter. We should have a we'll see counter now for this episode. But anyway, let's get on with this. Okay, so this next shot displays the Doctor in handcuffs. Another sort of shot that we've seen before. We've definitely seen the 30th Doctor in handcuffs before. There was a leaked picture from someone's Instagram, a director we believe, who'd been working on the show, of her holding a clapperboard with Doctor in handcuffs. Obviously, the Judoon are policemen, so I think it would make logically the most sense that this is from the Judoon episode. If I was to place bets on what episodes would get two-parters, since they're making such a big deal about the Judoon episode for some reason, I'd say two-parter there. Perhaps mid-season, I'd imagine. Obviously, the two-part opener, and then I would imagine a two-part finale, potentially with the Cybermen, I would say, as I think when they talk about the story arc with something coming to get her, I think that's potentially what it's leading to. Maybe a vengeful Cyberman that have survived. Maybe it's Bill. That's an interesting one. No, it's not Bill, because Bill survived, but maybe it's some Cyberman who knows the Doctor and who's very familiar with her / him and wants to seek vengeance, and maybe that's what's coming for her. Again, this is all speculation, so we'll see. Okay, so this next shot is most notable for what the Doctor says during this sequence, but it also I want to point out the sort of map behind her. It's very reminiscent of the Series 9 two-parter, where they have a unit has a map up of the UK where all the plane incidents have been happening. But so that's probably from, again, the spy episode, or some other sort of good link to that Raven episode. Maybe they're keeping an eye on Raven activity across the globe, I guess. But also what she says. Now, this is what's interesting. She says to this person, fancy a trip in the box. Now, this is either hinting at a new companion or a one-off companion, perhaps. But either way, I'm a bit like, Chris Chibnall, you already have 3 companions. You can't find enough things to do with Yaz in Series 11, let alone in a new series with the same amount of companions. I don't see how it could work introducing a new companion unless a companion has already left or died, which obviously a lot of people pointed to the fact that Tosin Cole is going to Comic-Con, which will be just after Series 12 airs. Also, this could be just that Series 13 will air late 2021, which a lot of people have been speculating, which means they won't start filming again until late 2020. So we're talking like Series 11 didn't start filming until, like, I think December, November type time. So it could not air probably. So that could be that. So Tosin Cole could leave. I don't think he'd die, because I don't think it really have much emotional impact personally for me. I've never really connected with Ryan that much. I think the companion I've most connected with, and I think most people have mostly connected with, is Ryan. So the proposition of a new companion or a one-off companion, or maybe someone who's promised a trip in the TARDIS, but ultimately meets their demise. I'm sorry if there's some shouting. That's the neighbours. I'm sorry, they're always shouting. I'm very sorry, but yeah. If it is a new companion, I'll be a bit frustrated, particularly if they keep all of them, because Chris Chibnall just seems to add with the companions and not really deliver in terms of character development, particularly Yaz, which seems like a cardboard cutout of a companion in my opinion. Yaz, Tia Yaz's, but yeah. So that's an interesting. That's the new content we got for the trailer. We also got the announcement of the first episode airing New Year's Day. I'm about to put up a couple of shots from my Twitter. Showing the most likely release dates for Doctor Who Series 12. So that is basically the video today, the new trailer and the announcement of the Doctor Who episode title and the release dates. Obviously those release dates are not confirmed, do not hold them to me, but obviously that would put the series as starting January 1st and concluding March 1st, which I didn't think would quite add up, but yeah, I think based on what I've heard that they will probably keep the Sunday slot, least to me. I mean, they could easily change it to Saturday, but then that's just a case of the day before those dates, so that looks like a pretty good run, January 1st to March 1st. No sign of a special, episode on the horizon at this moment. A lot of people were talking about the Dalek episode. Obviously the Daleks are not in the Series 12 trailer. A lot of people are saying that will probably put the Daleks coming in a festive special, which I'm not sure. It could actually, if it is a festive special, it could just be... I hope it is, kind of, because I don't want them to do a massive I've never liked any of the festive specials, if I'm honest. A festive start to a season, I think, could work, actually. I think the New Year's Day start for Series 12 could be a good thing, as long as they try and avoid the New Year's aspect of it. They kind of did with Resolution. I will grant them that Resolution does stand on its own, but I think a lot of the Christmas episodes often became preoccupied in the fact that it's Christmas and let's celebrate and family goodness, which obviously very much mixes with Doctor Who in a way, but it often takes away from the plot. And while Doctor Who specials were always something nice to have, and I do kind of wish that we did still have them, as they're a fun little tradition, but I do hope they sort of move away from focusing on the special, entitled the actual event, and move towards plot, which I think this release date, being the release date for the series being January 1st, promises that it probably will be focused more on plot than special, which I think is a good thing. But yeah, so that's this thing in conclusion, Doctor Who returns January 1st, 2020. Let me know your thoughts on this trailer. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's a lot of good videos planned, hopefully. Obviously, I can now actually plan a release date for my Beth animation thing, if you guys have been following on that, which means that you'll probably put it, I'm not going to post it during Doctor Who season, because obviously Doctor Who reviews. So if anyone even cares about the Doctor Who Macbeth animation, but I would probably place that sometime mid-March. I'm gonna have to think about that, but fit that in my schedule. But yeah, if you're excited, so let me know what you think about Series 12, what this trailer promotes to you. I think we've seen a lot of that Raven facility episode, actually, in my opinion. The first trailer was very heavy on the Mary Shelley episode with the strange Rachnos creature, and of course the first episode is obviously very prominent in both trailers, but I think this trailer's obviously focused quite a bit on that episode. A lot of people saying maybe the two episodes are linked. I guess it could be that those two episodes are linked. It is supposedly a two-parter. I don't know why the Doctor would get changed in those episodes. I still think that episode 1 will probably maybe be a sort of, because they would talk about one of the historical characters they're using in the Paris episode is a spy for the French resistance, I do believe. So maybe if it's spy, maybe it is a two-parter, but it's two different time periods, and maybe the Doctor is thrown into the past in Paris 1943 or 1. I can't remember. Maybe that will link to that. Maybe the Doctor will just be thrown into that time period, and it's up to maybe in that facility. Okay, maybe in that facility there's a time machine, which is causing all this craziness to go down. But yeah, that it could be an episode 1 trailer in a way, but it's obviously not. There's so many different elements from different Doctor Who episodes from throughout the series. But yeah, I'm really hyped for this series now. I hope you enjoyed my breakdown. Like, comment, and subscribe comment down below. And yeah, have a nice evening /day when you watch this. Bye.